Hello and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. In this video, I'm going to be testing out the new holiday collection from Lunar Beauty. We have the Greek Goddess collection. So Lunar Beauty is the makeup brand that was created by YouTuber and makeup artist Manny MUA. For the holiday collection, he came out with a new 15 pan color palette. It's very beautiful. He also came out with a 6 shade highlighting palette, as well as 3 lip products. He came out with 2 liquid lipsticks as well as 1 gloss. I think it's important to just say right off the bat, I'm here to review the makeup and only the makeup. If you have a problem with me reviewing Lunar Beauty, if you have a problem with Manny MUA, that's fine. Thank you for joining me, and you don't have to watch the video anymore. But I'm gonna try to put personal opinions on Manny aside. I used to watch his videos a lot. I've kind of not watched him recently, but it was not really anything. We all know the scandal. It happened. We've moved on. I'm here to review the makeup and only the makeup and just talk about this collection. I know a lot of people are really interested in testing it out. It was a very late holiday release. This was only released last week, so a lot of the main brands had already put out their holiday collection. So I thought it would be helpful to just let people know what I think if anyone's interested in picking this up for the holiday season. So with that aside, let's move on and jump right into it. So this collection is called the Greek Goddess collection, and I do have to say that everything in this collection does look very beautiful. I think the theming, the color schemes, the packaging, all of it is really, really beautiful. It's well executed, and I think it looks very professional. I don't really think that Lunar Beauty or Manny have really had that difficulty. He's only come out with 1 other palette prior to this. Last spring, he came out with the Life's a Drag palette. There were other issues, of course, with starting a company and with the launch, but I really feel like this collection has really stepped up the game just with the packaging, with the theming, with all of that. Everything just looks really nice. So here's the outer unit carton, and then here is the actual packaging for the color palette. Highlighter palette, so they are, complementary, one being black, one white. So I do think it's pretty. They have the Medusa head on here that is this like embossed kind of raised gold. And then it has, of course, Lunar Beauty on the top, everything on the back. It's just all this embossed gold. It is a kind of a soft touch. I like that. I like the soft touch material. I think it feels very nice. It feels very luxe. They are pretty weighty. And in both palettes, you get a very large size mirror in both of those. So they do feel really nice. The only thing about the soft touch material that I don't particularly care for is that it can get dirty quite quickly, especially with makeup products. You're smearing it, you're touching it. They can get dirty, and they are a little bit trickier to clean as if it was like a laminated cardboard that's easy to wipe off. So that's the only thing, but it does feel very, very nice, and they are very heavy. So I think I actually want to start with the highlighter palette because I don't have any highlighter on my face today. So I think let's get started with this guy. So this is the Greek Goddess highlighter palette. It is a 6 pan highlighters. These are very large size pans of highlighters, and I do think they all look really nice. We have a nice variety of different shades, of different tones, as well as different finishes. So let's take a quick look at some swatches of all of these. Bring out the sun goddess in you with this 6 color highlight palette that goes with any skin tone. From the fairest of skin to the deepest complexion, this Greek Goddess highlight is a must. So we have the shade Harpy, which is a duochrome pink peach shift, Muse, a light peach gold, Siren, a deep rose gold, Phoenix, pink blush topper with gold accent, Medusa, pale bright peach with silver undertone, and Sphinx, a deep gold with warm undertone. So I think for the interest of trying as many of these different shades as possible, I'm actually going to go into Phoenix, which is a blush topper. I'm not really a blush topper type of person. I don't really care for the super luminous blushes, but this does look very beautiful, and just swatching it, it has this gorgeous sheen to it that I think is actually going to be really nice. So I'm wearing my favorite studio what is it? Studio Luminous blush? I don't even know. Studio Makeup is the name of the brand. I don't know the name of the blush. It's a loose powder blush and it is my absolute favorite. So I'm gonna just pick up a little bit of Phoenix. It is kind of dusty. Oh, that's nice. It's actually a lot more subtle than I thought it would be. It's not adding a whole ton of like shimmery, sparkly highlight on my cheeks. And that's a nice tone of the color. It's not adding a ton of pigment to my already existing blush, but I think it just adds a little extra luminosity. It's pretty. That's really pretty. All right. So now, what do I want to do? Definitely do Siren. So I'm going to put Siren on this side. And, ooh, that picked up a lot. Let's really knock that off. It's a little bit dark, actually. But I don't think it's bad. I kind of like it. It's not adding as much shine as I kind of thought it would. It's pretty. It goes on really creamy. It's not emphasizing really any of my texture, dry skin. It looks very luminous, so I do like that. All right, it's still powdery though. Both Phoenix and Siren have been very powdery when I put my brush in them. All right, so now I think I'm gonna take Muse on the other side. Oh yeah, that's a lot brighter. It's a lot brighter, a lot blingier than Siren. Siren's a little bit more toned down, a little bit more muted. Muse, on the other hand, this is very bright. I bet these would look really pretty, like layered together. And then finally, just for funsies, I do really want to try Harpy. I'm gonna put that on both sides. I'm taking a different highlighter brush. This is my Morphe Y14 tapered highlighter brush. And I'm just gonna pop this on top of Siren. Oh, that adds a lot. Do you see how that just like really enhanced? Oh, that's pretty. I'm not seeing a lot of the duochrominess on my skin, but it did brighten that Siren shade a lot. It's pretty. We're going to a handbell concert tonight, like a holiday handbell concert. I'm gonna be the most highlighted with my unmatching mixed and matched highlighters tonight, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. They all went on really nicely. I think they blend really well. They're very creamy. They're beautiful. Because why not? I can't stop when it comes to highlighter. I have a problem and I know that. I am going to go into the shade Medusa and I'm going to use this to highlight underneath my eyebrow. I did put one of the lighter shades. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, did you see that? Look at that. That is so bright. That's so beautiful. I'm like a magpie. I get distracted by anything glittery, shiny, anything like that. Did you see that? Shiny. I love it. So as I was saying, I did put one of the shades from the we're gonna call it eyeshadow palette just for simplicity's sake. I did put one of those shades on my brow bone, but I noticed it kind of had like diminished. It was about an hour or so ago that I finished doing my eyeshadows. I was like, it's really not there. But this Medusa, okay, wait for the magic, wait. Oh, that is really something. But look how it blends out. I mean, I have it here, definitely, and you can tell that it's there and it's lightened, but it's not as bright as this. I mean, that's a lot. But I'm just gonna take this fluffy blending brush. It's clean, mostly. I use it to blend out the edges of stuff, so it's not bad. And I'm just gonna like blend this in, and it really diffuses nicely, but it still leaves a lot more of that blinginess that I wasn't really getting from the shade I used in the eyeshadow palette. I have to say, overall, I think this highlighter palette it's amazing. I really, really, really do like this. I think all of the shades in here are beautiful. They all perform nicely. I haven't tried the Sphinx shade, but I suspect this is good. It feels really nice and it looks really beautiful. Should I put a little bit? I'm just gonna do it. There we go. Now I have all 6 shades on my face. I'm that person. I do really like this. I think they are beautiful, they are creamy, they're soft, and they go on really, really nicely on the skin. So overall, I think this is a very nice palette. I enjoy it. Again, this is a limited edition, and in the initial launch video, Manny said that once this sells out, he will not be bringing it back. It's gone. It's gone for good. So if you're interested in picking it up, I did just check the website. It is available both on its own and in a bundle with the eyeshadow color palette. So I would definitely recommend picking this up. Moving right along, we have the Greek Goddess color palette. So this is not technically called an eyeshadow palette because Lunar Beauty is a cruelty-free and a vegan brand. So that means some of these more red shades in this palette are going to be formulated using a red dye instead of carmine, which of course is made from the juice or the shells of crushed up beetles, which actually probably would have been very accurate for what Greeks would have been using at the time. I mean, they have historical evidence that Cleopatra, who was, reigning in Egypt at the time of the height of the Roman Empire, which was a little bit later than Greek time, but still, Greek women probably would have worn carmine in their cosmetics, so historically accurate, but not vegan in today's society. So in order to have a vegan formula, of course, they're going to have to use the red dye, which the FDA does not approve all of these red dyes for the use on the eyes. The EU has slightly different standards, and of course the FDA has not updated their regulations in quite a few years, so take that with a grain of salt. You might want to be careful if you are very sensitive to staining of the eyelids, if you have sensitive skin. You probably want to approach this, maybe do a little bit of patch testing, especially with maybe this darkest shade, Aphrodite. This would be the one I think would probably give the potential for the most staining if you are sensitive to that. So maybe do a little bit of patch testing before actually going on directly onto the eyelid. This, of course, is a 15 pan palette. This 15 color palette is the perfect combination of warm mattes and bright shimmers. Even Zeus would be shook. Even Zeus would be shook. Perfect for an everyday casual look or a bold and brilliant eye, this palette is a must. So you have Hestia matte off-white with pink undertone, Harmonia matte muted mustard transition shade, Celine micro glitter foiled copper, Aphrodite a matte deep maroon, Hera a micro glitter foiled bronze gold, Circe a deep rose gold pressed glitter, Cleo matte taupe with pink undertones, Iris micro glitter foiled rose gold, Nemesis blue pressed glitter with black undertone, Rhea matte rust transition shade, Artemis matte medium orange transition shade, Athena pale shimmer with peachy silver undertone, Persephone matte warm brown transition shade, Calliope matte deep plum brown, and Calypso a satin deep brown shade. Overall, I do really like the colors in this palette. Some people were saying that this color scheme was a little bit, should I say boring, is I think the criticism that was being thrown around, that it was a little safe maybe, especially compared to Life's a Drag, which was the last palette that Manny released, which, half the palette, of course, was a very, very bright, bold colors, and then the other half was a little bit more muted. This is muted, but I think it's really beautiful, and just for me personally, I enjoy these colors. I really do. I love a bronze gold eye with a warm matte brown in the crease. I think this pop of blue, Nemesis, is really pretty. It's a really unique shade because it has the black undertone to it. So that's really different, but really that is the only pop of color in this palette. But I think you're seeing this a lot. This is kind of on trend for what we have been seeing pretty much this entire year throughout 2018. It's a lot of warm brown neutrals with that pop of blue. So yes, does it look like the other palettes? Yes, but that's kind of what is in style at this time. So I think it's very on trend, and I think this is very wearable. There's a lot of really beautiful shades in here, and so I think so many different people would be able to get a lot of use out of this palette and find shades that work for them. So let me just talk you through how I got my eyeshadow look that I have on today. So first, I actually started out, I primed my lid using my MAC Pro Longwear paint pot in the color Soft Ochre. I first went into the shade Persephone, and I took this on a Morphe R37, and I started just pressing this onto my brow bone and very lightly into my crease. Looking at this color, I probably should have started with Cleo. Persephone was a little bit dark once I started to get it onto my eye. So in order to try to lighten everything up, I then took a more fluffy blending brush. I took my Morphe M441 and went into the shade Harmonia and blended the edge of where I had put Persephone onto my brow bone. I next went into the shade Rhea, which is a really, really beautiful, warm, matte brown. I took this on a more pointed R37, a newer, more pointed R37 brush, and really focused this a little bit lower than where I had placed Persephone, and really worked that into my crease, kind of taking it all the way in, even towards the middle part of my eye, to really get that warm, dark brown color. My main problem, everything was blending really well with this palette. I didn't have any issues with blendability. I thought everything felt very creamy when you were swatching them and applying them on the eyes. Everything went on very, very nicely. My main issue was I didn't see a lot of definition between the colors. So when I went in with Persephone first, which probably I should have gone in with a lighter transition shade and then gone into Rhea, and there would have been a little bit more contrast. And I really felt like everything was getting just very muddy in the crease. It was just kind of a warm brown, muddy mess. And then I went into the shade Aphrodite using a very small pointed brush. This is the M514. This is my favorite brush for blending out the outer corner of my eye and into the crease, to be very precise on where I place the color. Aphrodite is a very beautiful color. It's a really nice rusty red color, and for it being as dark as it actually is very, very creamy. I mean, it just blends out so well, but still leaves a lot of that initial pigmentation. I thought it worked well, but it just, again, was getting a little bit lost in that outer edge with Rhea. And looking at them in the pan, I mean, you can see that Rhea is it's a little bit more brown, it's a little bit more orange, where Aphrodite is more of like a rusty red color. And I was having a hard time getting that kind of definition that I really wanted in the eyeshadow look. So I went ahead and took Hera. I decided not to cut my crease. I typically don't cut my crease with concealer and then go in with shimmer. I feel like, especially when I'm trying out a new eyeshadow palette, it's a real test of the shadows to see how well they perform directly over the matte or without a cut crease, to see if they really can build up to full opacity. Because I think a lot of people, just for everyday normal wear of eyeshadows, are not going to be doing a cut crease. I mean, nobody has time for that on like a regular everyday basis. So I usually like to just go in directly with a glitter glue and then with the shimmer to see how it works. And I feel like that is a more true test of how a shimmer shade performs just directly on its own. Yes, I did use a little glitter glue, but I do that with every shimmer. I always give it the benefit of doubt and like to test them with a glitter glue first. So I took a little glitter glue and then I just tapped Hera onto my eyelid. And then I used a little bit of Fix Plus with a Morphe M167 flat brush to really just pack that into the crease and make sure that I did kind of create the illusion of a cut crease, to have a very sharp line of where I put my initial shimmer shade down. Once I got Hera down, I just decided more is more, and I couldn't really stop myself. So I did go into Celine, just taking that on my finger and patted that just on the outer portion of my eye to kind of create a little bit of a fade between the gold, the copper, and then the dark red shade that I had in the outer V. The shimmers applied really well. They were very creamy, and I think they did have full opacity with just tapping them on with a finger or using a wet brush. They worked very, very well. After that, I went ahead and just finished up the rest of my makeup, came back, I took the color Calliope on a flat brush. This was the M432, and I stamped that onto my lower lash line, connecting my lower lash line to the shadow wing that I had started with the upper colors, blended that together using a little bit of Rhea and then Persephone, Cleo, and Harmonia on the lower lash line. I finished everything up with Athena. I used that on my inner corner highlight as well as my brow bone highlight. I think it worked really well as an inner corner highlight. On my brow bone, it just didn't give me quite enough oomph. But I think overall it worked really, really well. All in all, I did really enjoy this eyeshadow palette. These are just the colors to which I personally am very drawn. I enjoy a warm, smoky eye. It's kind of my go-to if I'm just not doing anything fancy, not trying out anything new. These are the colors that I'm going to be using primarily. I love this gold. Hira is beautiful. I really like Iris. This is a very, very pretty shimmer. I think Artemis and Rhea are very, very nice warm brown transition shades. And then I think the addition of these pressed glitters in Cersei and in Nemesis are really, really pretty, and it adds just a little extra something to the palette. I mean, you have a nice mix here of mattes. You have this one down here. This is Calypso. This is a satin, as well as the, you know, the shimmer shades and the pressed glitter. So there is a very nice mix of different types of formulas in here, and you are getting a very, very luxe, beautiful packaging. The one thing about the packaging that I do have to say, I have normal size hands. I have very long fingers for someone who's my height, but I think I have normal size hands, and this palette is a little bit large and it's a little bit heavy. So I noticed that when I was holding the palette using the mirror, because again, the mirror is huge, it's a very nice quality mirror, I was getting a little bit of a cramp in my hand as I was holding it, and I was just like, you know, doing my makeup. That's the only thing. It's a very minor thing that I didn't like about the packaging or about the palette. So would I recommend this palette? Yes, definitely. It's beautiful. Now this one is potentially limited edition. I believe in his launch video, Manny said that this is limited edition for now, with he may be thinking about bringing it back later, but he didn't make any definite promises. So if you're interested in picking this up, definitely pick it up, because it may not be there forever, but this is definitely a plus for me. All right, last but certainly not least, in this collection, there are also 3 lip products. Let's just take a second to look at this packaging. I don't know if it's personally my favorite packaging. It's unique, it's different, it's beautiful, it's a little tacky. I'm sorry, it is. It's a little, in my personal opinion, I think having the gem in the top is just ever so slightly tacky. Slightly. Maybe not tacky, kitschy. Let's say kitschy. Kitschy's a better way than tacky. We're not going to call it tacky, it's a little kitschy. But I do think it's beautiful and it fits with the entire theme. So I don't know if this like gem is going to be permanent for the line. I know he kind of alluded to the fact that more liquid lipsticks are going to be coming out soon. I don't know if that's going to be permanent, but it's a little kitschy, but I think it works for the whole idea of like the Greek goddesses and just, you know, the theming of the collection. So in this collection, we have 2 liquid lipsticks. We first have this bright true red shade called Aphrodite. And then we also have the color Zaya, which is a terracotta brown nudie color. So these are both described as comfort matte liquid lipsticks. The liquid lipsticks are a hybrid between a matte and satin lipsticks. They are long lasting, they dry down comfortably, and have a full 100% pigmentation. These lipsticks are a comfortable matte, so they do transfer slightly when lips are touched, but they are a little bit more comfortable to feel. But I actually really like it. I prefer a more satin comfort matte type of finish, as opposed to a true dry down, completely matte. Those are way too drying, and I don't like it. So this has been very, very comfortable on my lips, and the transfer is not, it's not terrible. I mean, it's a little bit of transfer, but it's nothing that I can't live with, especially for a red. I do actually like that it does dry down to this level of matteness and dryness, because so many times if you have like a more slippery, liquidy red formula, it can just smear and get everywhere and make a giant mess. So I do really enjoy that. Also, one thing that I really like about these is the shape of the applicator. It is very, very thin. It's very, very pointed, which allows, I feel like, me to really get in and line my lips nicely without using a lip liner, because I did not use a lip liner. This is Zaya that I am wearing on my lips right now, but even with Aphrodite, which is a bright red, which gives me so much stress. I mean, I don't breathe for probably 3 minutes as I'm like very carefully trying to like outline my lips, don't smear the red. So finally, we have the gloss. So this is in the same packaging as the liquid lipsticks, but it does have a different applicator. This is the Celine lip gloss. This lip gloss is the lightweight, non-sticky, ultra shine formula that looks amazing on every skin tone. It is a light, non-sticky gloss with gold reflective glitter. It doesn't feel too sticky. It doesn't feel heavy. I really enjoy wearing glosses, but I don't like it if they're sticky, and I don't like it if it feels kind of gloopy. Is that a word that people understand? This actually, I think, has that kind of nice middle balance. So it is pretty. I like it. I would definitely recommend this gloss as well. Should I go ahead and put this on? I'm going to put a little gloss on. that's pretty. So that is the entire Greek Goddess holiday collection from Lunar Beauty. I have to say, I was very impressed with this collection. I don't know exactly what I was expecting from Lunar Beauty. It's not that I've heard anything necessarily bad about the brand, but I just wasn't really expecting this. They feel very, I mean, the entire collection feels, looks, I think the formulas all perform at a very, very high quality level. I mean, it's just, these are beautiful packaging. Everything about the collection just feels nice. I like that it's a cohesive theme and the product actually performs. So, like I said at the beginning, think whatever you want about Manny. No one's forcing you to buy this. I am happy that I did pick this up. I really have enjoyed using these shadows. I mean, everything that I tried, I think the highlighters look beautiful. I think the eyeshadows look beautiful. And I do really like the lipsticks and the glosses. So, say what you want about the person. I think the brand itself is very nice. So thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. I really appreciate you being here. If you liked this video, if you liked this review, be sure to give it a thumbs up. It lets me know you like what I'm doing here, and I really appreciate that. And if you have not yet subscribed, I mean, now is the chance. Subscribe. Do it right now. Right now. Hit that subscribe button. I'm here throughout the entire month of December. I'm trying out new holiday makeup. I'm trying out new makeup releases. We're doing reviews. We're doing tutorials. We're doing some giveaways. We're doing lots and lots of fun things here on my channel. And if you don't want to miss a single video, be sure to also ring the notification bell once you subscribe, because I know you've all subscribed now, right? Thank you so much again for joining me. I love you all. Have a beautiful day. Bye.